Hello! Again, I'm Cyril Mangudang, and today I'm going to continue the continuations of my report, which is the morphology. Let me share my screen with you. So what is morphology? So morphology is the study of forms, okay? Meaning, it studies the patterns of forming words by combining sounds into minimal distinctive units of meaning. It calls morphemes. So it deals with the rules of attaching suffixes or prefixes to single morphemes to form words. Okay, so morphology is the branch of linguistics and one of the major components of grammar that studies word structures, especially in terms of morphemes. Also, it studies the descriptions of word formation as inflection, derivations, and compounding in language. So morphology is the study of word formations of the structures of words. So it deals with the internal structures of word. It also studies the changes that take place in the structures of the words. Okay, now let's go to the next page. So morphology, uh, morpheme is a short segment, okay, of language that meets three uh, criteria. So what are those? First, it is a word or part of word that has meaning. Second, it cannot be divided into smaller meaningful parts without violations of its meaning or without meaningless remainders. And finally, it recurs in different words with a relatively stable meaning. Now let's go to the next page. Okay, I have here an example. Okay, for example, care and lust, unhappy, and the word teach plus the er. Okay, so that the word here, the last un is the morpheme. Okay, now here, the word unhappiness has three morphemes. Unhappiness, while the word salamander is a single morpheme. Okay, we have two types of morpheme. First, the free morpheme and bound morpheme rather. So what is a free morpheme? Free morpheme are those that can stand on their own as independent words. Okay, for example here, happy. Okay, in unhappily, like, in dislike, boy, in boyhood. Okay, they can occur in the isolations like happy or like. So they can stand alone. Even though we remove the prefixes an, dist, hood, they can stand alone. So those are the free morphemes. Okay, next we have the bound morpheme. So what is bound morpheme? So those are cannot stand alone. Okay, this is opposite to the free morpheme. Okay, they cannot stand on their own as independent words. They are always attached to a free morphemes or form. So in order for them to stand, you need to add a suffixes or prefixes. Okay, so this is the bound morpheme. Examples of bound morpheme are on, li, this, or hood. Okay, we have here an example. For example, con, di, per. Okay, to be attached. Okay, to create a word. Okay, conceive, deceive, perceive. Okay, next. Okay, all prefixes and suffixes are bound morphemes. Okay, when free morphemes are used with bound morphemes attached, the basic word forms are known as stem. Okay, for example, careless. This is a free. Okay, the suffix is bound. Okay, so next, dressed. So this is the stem. Okay, the suffix is ed. Okay, or undressed. Okay, so now this time let's go to the next page. So but there are a number of English words in which the elements rated stem is not free morphem. Okay, in words like reduce, repeat, and receive. Okay, so we can identify the bound morpheme re at the beginning, but the elements reduce or reduce, repeat, and sieve are not separate words forms. That is why they cannot be called free morphemes. These types of forms are called bound stems. Okay, to distinguish between them and the free stems. Again, they are called bound stems. They are not free morphemes. Okay, those words are reduce, repeat, and receive. Now let's go to the next page. So yes, I already mentioned that. So we have types of free morphemes, the lexical morphemes and the functional morpheme. Lexical morpheme is a set of ordinary nouns, adjective, and verbs that carry the. So a word that conveys information in a text or speech act is known as lexical word. So why are they treated as open class of words? Because we can add new lexical morphemes to the language rather easily. Okay, we can create new words which are lexical. Okay, next we have the functional. These are the morphemes that consist of functional words in the language, such as the conjunctions, prepositions, articles, and pronouns. Okay, for example, is, are, and, in, the, that, it, she. So those are the conjunctions and prepositions. We call that the functional morphemes. Okay, now let's proceed to the next page. Why are they called closed class of words? They are called closed class of words because we almost or never add new functional morphemes to the language. Okay, now let's go to the next page. We have the types of bound morphemes. Under this is the derivational morphemes and the inflectional morphemes. So inflectional morphemes are those that never change the form class of the words or morphemes to which they are attached. Never change the form. Okay, they are always attached to complete words. So the purpose of this is to complete the words. They cap the word and they are close-ended set of morphemes. Okay, we have 8 inflectional morphemes. What are those? Okay, est, third person singular, ed, the past tense, ing, the progressive. Okay, for example, here s, the third person singular, she stays at home. We add the word est, okay, because this is singular. So subject verb agreement. She stays at home. Inflectional morphemes is s. The ed past tense, she stayed at home. The ing progressive, she is staying at home. The en past participle, she has it plus en, eaten at home. S plural, she wrote novels. We add est. And the S possessive, Mary's car is new. ER comparative, this road is longer than that. And the EST superlative, this is the longest road. Remember, we only have 8 inflectional morphemes. Again, I'm going to repeat. The S, ED, ING, EN, S plural, S possessive, ER comparative, and the EST superlative. Okay, now let's proceed to the next page. We have the derivational morphemes. The second part of the bound morpheme is derivational morpheme. Not part, type rather. Okay, derivational morpheme are those that are added to the root or stems to derive new words. So they usually change. If the inflectional doesn't change, the derivational is changing. Okay, when we're going to add the root morphemes. Okay, for example here, actual. Okay, we add the derivational morpheme, actualize. Help, we add the derivational morpheme, helpful. Unlucky. So the meaning of the word change, like from noun to an adjective, or okay, from noun to an adjective. Okay, now let's proceed to the next page. Okay, derivational morpheme are those bound morphemes that we use in making new words or making words of different grammatical category from the stem. Okay, as I said a while ago, okay, for example, good, okay, the derivational morpheme is ness. Goodness, they become noun. Care, noun, plus derivational morpheme full. Careful, it become adjective. So the word is changing or changes, the meaning of the word. So we have a list of derivational morpheme. It concludes suffixes ish, less, li. Prefixes re, pre, and ex, mis, co. Okay, now let's proceed to the next page. Okay, so morphological description. So what is the difference between inflectional morpheme and derivational morpheme? So as I said a while ago, okay, the other one, the inflectional is not changing, and the other one, the derivational is changing. Okay, like old, older, the inflectional, derivational, teach, teacher, verb, and noun. Okay, now let's proceed to the next page. Okay, you can see here the functional, lexical, inflectional, lexical, derivational, lexical, inflectional, functional, lexical, derivational, and the inflectional rather. Okay, now let's proceed to the next page. Okay, we have the allomorph. Allomorphs also, okay, under also the morphology. So allomorphs is belong to the same morpheme. For example, the S, Z, is, okay, for example, cats, cats, bags, bugs. Okay, buzzes, buzzes are allomorphs of the plural morphemes. So they are variants of a morpheme that may be phonologically or morphonologically conditioned. En, as in oxen and children, are allomorphs of plural morpheme. Okay, now let's go to the next page. Okay, we also have here as, hunted or banded, as in the, buzz, and the T, fished. Okay, now let's proceed to the allomorphy in English. English has several morphemes that vary in sounds but not in meaning. Example is the include the past tense and the plural morphemes. In English language, the past tense morpheme is ed. It occurs in several allomorphs depending on its phonological environment, assimilating voicings of the previous segment or inserting the schwa sounds which when following an alveolar stop, as I discussed on the phonology. Now let's, under the morphology is we have the word formation processes. So word formation processes, first is the derivations. This involves the additions of derivational affix, changing the syntactic category item which is attached. Discern, discernment. Verb, okay, so adjective. Woman, noun, womanly. Okay, next, we have the category extension. What is category extension? This involves a morpheme from one syntactic category to another. House, noun, house, verb, fast adjective, and fast adjective. Okay, next, we have the compounding. This involves creating a new word by combining two free morphemes. Okay, we have, for example, here, sun is a free morpheme. It can stand alone. Set also is a free morpheme. So if we're going to combine them, we create new word. Sunset, drugstore. Okay, what else? Yeah, cell phone, I think cell phone, and so on. Okay, we create, that is what we call compounding. Two free morphemes are combining. Next, root creations. So it is a brand new word based on no pre-existing morphemes. Okay, for example, Colgate, Xerox, Xerox. So this is no pre-existing morpheme. Okay, next, clip form. It is a shortened form of a pre-existing forms. From the word shortened. Gym, gymnasium. Mic, microphone. We shorten the word gym. Okay, we can say gym instead of gymnasium. Mic, microphone. Also the gas, gasoline. So those are the shortened, we call it clip form. Next, we have root creation. So this, okay, sorry. Yeah, root creation. Okay, this is root creation. Okay, next we have the blend. What is blend? So blending is the combination of parts of two existing forms, like smug, smug plus fug. Smoke plus fug is smug. Motor plus hotel is motel. Another breakfast plus lunch is brunch. Okay, next we have the acronym. This is the word form, the first letter of each word in the phrase. For example, the NASA is stand for National Aeronautics and Space Administrations. SARS is Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome. So we called it acronym. Abbreviation is the word form from the names of the first letters of the permanent syllables of a word. TV, stand for, not stand, television, or words and phrases. FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation. Okay, next we have the proper name. This process forms of a word from a proper name. Okay, hamburger, Hamburg, Germany. Sandwich, Earl of Sandwich. Next, folk etymology. This process forms a word by substituting a common native form for an exotic, often foreign form. Okay, for example, cockroach, Spanish cucaracha, or the wood louse. Okay, and the last one is the back formation. Back formation is processes forms of a word by removing what is mistaken from for an affix. For example, editor, we can say edit, beggar, beg. Okay, now we are done with the word formation. Okay, word formation processes. Now let's proceed to the more phonemic processes. Under this, okay, we have the dissimulations, assimilations, deletions, ephenthesis, and the metathesis. So assimilation is the process that results from sound becoming more like another nearby sounds in terms of one or more of its phonetic characteristics. Okay, for example, okay, we have here an example. Okay, probable, improbable, potent, impotent, separable, inseparable, sensitive, insensitive. So we add the M. I think it's negative. So this is a process segment take on the characters of neighboring sound. M and in. Okay, the suffix M and in to make it negative. Okay, next let's have the dissimulation. When I say dissimulation, this is a process that results two sounds becoming less alike in the articulatory or acoustic terms. A process in which units where occur in same context are lost in others. Okay, for example, library, 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 governor, governor. Okay, we delete, lost. Okay, it lost. Next, the deletions. Deletion is the process that removes a segment from certain phonetic context. It occurs in everyday rapid speech. For example, blind man, blind man. Okay, next, ephenthesis is the process that inserts a syllable or a non-syllabic segment within an existing string or segment. For example, planted. Okay, and the last one is the metathesis. This is a process that reorders or reverses the sequence of segments or occurs when two segments in a series switch places. For example, asked, ask, ruler, lular, violet, violet. I'm sorry, violet, violet. Okay, so that is my presentations about the morphology. Okay, the study of meaning for the words. Okay, thank you so much. I hope you learned something from me. Have a great day. Bye-bye.